Hello, and welcome to another episode of the weekly Winedown. Cheers.
Outdoor version,
daytime version,
Canadian version.
Canadian version.
We are here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, in my hometown, and look at the gorgeous set we are in. How beautiful is it?
Yeah.
It's perfect for a red. What are we drinking today,
Yeah,
babe?
so today we are drinking Justin's father's favorite. It's a J. Lore Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's quite nice.
It is. It's
juicy.
It's not as heavy as the typical cab.
Yep.
And something that would go extremely well as you get into fall weather, which we are in. And the big thing we're talking about today is sleep and the power of sleep and how it can completely transform how you're able to show up on a day-to-day basis, and why it's not just your parents who talk about it, but the highest of performers are now focusing on sleep. And you look at Google, you look at Facebook, you look at all these places, and they have these sleep quarters, they have these nap beds, they have all of these things that are starting to enhance the power of sleep in their employees for productivity and the way they feel.
So this is one of my personal favorite topics, because anybody who knows me well knows that I do not function on less than 8 hours of sleep a night. So this is
Wouldn't
something
that be nice?
Yeah. So this is something that is very near and dear to my heart and to my sanity.
So a lot of people, when talking about sleep and talking about what they need, they really don't actually know how much they need. And that is one of the big reasons why within Own It, we track everything. Everything is tracked from using data. And we're able to find out different circadian rhythms. What's working for you, what isn't? What is getting you the quality of sleep you need, and what isn't? What's putting you in that slow wave sleep, the deep wave sleep, the REM sleep? Because our slow wave and deep wave sleep is actually where our body recovers, it heals, our memories are made in REM sleep, and ultimately it gives us the full feeling of being rested and woken when we get up.
So I actually had an interesting experience a couple weeks ago, where I would wake up every morning. You know, normally Justin and I, as most of you know, use the Whoop band on a daily basis, and we look at it probably 5-6 times a day. And one of the things I always do when I wake up is I take a look at my recovery. And I would say a good portion of the time it's green. Sometimes it's yellow, rarely red. And it's because I do prioritize sleep so much. I was in a particular week where, you know, I felt like I was really well rested. I felt fine. I wasn't stressed. I didn't have any of these things that normally cause you to have a lower recovery. But for some reason, I was waking up with reds and yellows for like 6 days in a row. It was completely out of my normalcy, out of my routine. And I asked Justin, can you take a look at this? Like, this doesn't make sense. So he ended up looking at it and told me that he thought I was fighting something off. And just as, you know, I was so surprised the next morning to wake up and actually feel run down. I felt like I was fighting something off. So immediately he went out, he got me a big thing of emergency Zicam. What else? He got me a bunch of vitamins.
Vitamin D.
Yeah.
And so what Alyse didn't mention in her story is the data that was low was her HRV, which is the measure in the body that tells us if there's subconscious or neurological stress going on that we don't understand. And so it's a key trigger in notifying if we're fighting something off. And the other is resting heart rate, which was elevated, which typically she's got a very low resting heart rate because she's fit and she looks after herself, but all of a sudden that was elevated. So that were the things that tipped me off, even though her sleep was still of high quality. And that's when we brought that back. And how long did it take you to get back to normal? 24 hours?
Yeah, it was very, very quick.
And so that's the power of being able to focus on the quality of sleep that you're getting, because as soon as we saw the data start to go down, we made sure she got about 15 more minutes of sleep on either end, which improved it by 30 minutes total.
I even took a nap that day.
Took a nap that day. Little things that we could improve on to make sure that the sleep quality was enhanced. And so I know at home you're thinking, well, how do I do this? Sleep cycles actually run in 90-minute increments. So it takes us a full 90 minutes to get from the moment we fall asleep to go through that light sleep, slow wave sleep, deep sleep, and then REM sleep. So it takes full 90 minutes. If we are interrupted through any of those, we don't actually complete the 90-minute cycle. So when you're planning your days, because this is how you should plan, if you know you have to wake up at 6 a.m., you count back 90-minute cycles, and we should try get an average of 5 every single night. Okay, so if we can average a 5 of every single night, 5 cycles, we count back from when we need to get up. So if we need to get up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 7 a.m., we count backwards to know when we need to go to sleep. And that is how we start to prepare the night before. Because it doesn't matter if we focus on just one night and get then 3 naps during the week. It's all about consistency and creating routine for ourselves. And so if we need to be up at 6 a.m., we count back 90 minutes, which is 1 cycle, which is to 4:30, 2 cycles, which is to 3, 3rd cycle to 1:30, 4th cycle to midnight, 5th cycle to 10:30. So we better make sure that at 10:30 we are in bed and ready to sleep. And so that would mean probably getting ready for bed around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And by doing that, we're ensuring that the cycles of our sleep are fully maximized and we can wake up refreshed, productive, the best version of ourselves, so we can perform at the highest level possible.
Absolutely.
So as you're planning your week, as you're planning your days, utilize these tips of 90-minute increments so that ultimately you can get a better sleep and be a better version of you and enjoy the fall weather.
And if you are feeling under the weather, as I was a couple weeks ago, know that yes, the Zicam may work, the vitamins may work, but ultimately it was that extra hour of sleep I was giving myself every night to really get me back to a better place, a healthier place.
Sir, cheers to you.
Cheers to sleep.
Go own it.
Go own it.